What's going on? Happy Sunday, the final Sunday of May. And this is another episode of the Truth Be Told podcast. And today, topic is going to be about how do you motivate yourself when trials and tribulations are going on in your life, and how are you going to be able to continue to go and press forward, and how you can't let the negativity of what's going on in the outside world infect your inside world, and things to keep you balanced, things to keep you in tune with what's going on. But we're also going to talk about why in this day and age, when it comes to what women perceive us men should be able to do and have, and if we don't, it's a reason why they don't want to ultimately give us a chance. I, for one, think that having a job, having any kind of job, is important because it's for your livelihood and it's be able to take care of your responsibilities. I think now, though, women say if we don't have a career, we're not where we're supposed to be. And I think, that's basically your preference based off of what you want for your life, which is okay. And I'm not saying that it's not wrong to have that preference. But at the same time, I am saying that it's important for women to know that not every guy walk of life is the same. Not every guy has a career. Maybe the guy wasn't able to finish school. Maybe he took a break from school. Maybe he has other things that's more important that he has to focus on and worry about. And he has to work in order to do it. So he needs a job that's he's going to get paid the kind of money he's going to get paid in order to take care of his responsibilities. And I think that's wrong in certain cases to say, oh, well, if you don't have a career, I don't want to talk to him. Or if I make more than them, I don't want to talk to him. And I'm like, this is not a competition. It just seems as though, especially on TikTok, that certain women makes competing with guys, their kind of guys, a competition. And this is never supposed to be about that. When you're an adult, it's great that you even have a job to begin with, no matter what you do, whether you work at McDonald's, whether you're an Amazon worker, whether you're a sales associate at a particular store, whether you're a sales associate at a clothing store, at a shoe store, whether you work the cashier, whether you work in a supermarket, whether you do janitorial work, it doesn't really matter, because in this day and age, having a job is what pays the bills. And if a woman is not able to understand that, then maybe she's not the kind of woman that you should even be looking for to begin with. But the fact that women are calling it out and saying, if I make more than him, I don't want to talk to him. I'm like, what if that's the guy that actually meets what you're looking for? What if that's the guy that can actually understand who you are as a woman and want to be with you and not care about what the money that you're making in your pocket? Because that's the problem. It becomes too much of transactional instead of understanding how a connection is supposed to be built. But if you're looking for clicks and you're looking for views, then you're going to absolutely get what you bargain for. You're going to walk into a video that talks about transactional things more than actual things that actually build a connection, actually build a bond and a foundation, because it's always a starting point. And there's numerous ways to make money. Also for YouTube people, they make money off of their content. Also for the type of people who views their video, who likes it, who shares in the algorithm, and all of those kind of things. Streamers, they make money. You can make money off betting if you get your bets right and things of that nature, and you make a lot of money. So it's different ways to be able to make a buck out here in America. And I think it's wrong for women, certain women, not all women, because I definitely make sure that I preference that. It's not all women who have that same mindset and that same mentality, because those same women probably got the same kind of jobs as the men do. and they're just not going to, divulge that. They want to make it seem as though they have a better job. And if you do have a career and you're lucky enough to have a career, that is great for you. But I do not think that you should determine off of being with someone based off of, if you make more than them. I don't really subscribe to that. Not really anyway, but I believe that's the problem. And when men see that, who views the content on TikTok, because as I always say in my podcast, I don't have TikTok. I have a page on my TikTok, but I don't have the app because it's too toxic, and I cannot imagine spending my time making a video or making a clip about something that really don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But you get views, you get opinions, and you get action in the comment section. So I understand in terms of that. But when we're talking about realistic point of views versus clicks and views, those are two different things. And at the same time, I believe it's always important as men to realize that, these women, they probably don't even have half the things that they say that they have, and some of us are smart enough to know that. Some of us aren't, We should never be in a competition with a woman. This is not a competition, because at the end of the day, women can do just as much as us men can do, and we can do just as much as women can do. There should never be a competition, but it seems as though in this day and age, it's always transactional. It's always a competition. It's always them trying to get up one over us. Why? I don't know, because as I always say, and I don't know if these women ever realize that when they make these kind of videos on their TikTok. Ma'am, you're looking for one particular man. You're not trying to reach every man in America. You're looking for one particular man that hopefully sees your video and want to give you an opportunity and a chance. But not with that kind of attitude and not with that kind of demeanor. They're going to be like, this chick is off her rocker, or she living in an alternate reality. She don't live in actual reality, And it's their opinion to be able to form by their video that you putting out. So anyone who sees the content, they can have their own certain perspective on it. And sometimes it's met with, disingenuousness if you think about it, because, you're commenting on people that you don't know. You're commenting on people you don't know their situation. And then you're basically determining whether you talk to them or not based off of that. And you got to think to yourself, just because you think you don't want to talk to him, what makes you think that he want to talk to you? Where's the logic in that? He could see the video and be like, yeah, you look good and all, but I would never talk to you. I would never deal with you. I wouldn't even give you the time of day. And then all of a sudden, that's when your ego hurt. Just in case if that's a guy you was really looking forward to, and you was looking forward to talking to, or looking forward to meeting, or looking forward to communicating with. Well, the type of content that you put out, and if it reaches a certain person that knows you already, that person could easily be like, yeah, I don't want to deal with you no more because you're doing too much. And now you lose out on a great opportunity. I'm talking about if that's the kind of guy that you're looking for, and then that guy that you're looking for sees the content and just totally gets turned off from it. I don't know if women thinking, man, sometimes when I look at the videos from content creators and I see what they be able to pull off of TikTok, it's sad, man. It's sad because at the same time, you would think, I'm pretty sure y'all got good morals and good principles. Why do you need to put on the front for the internet? What happened to just being authentic? I mean, y'all wear bonnets in these videos, looking all crazy half the time. If you could do that, then why can't you give realistic perspectives on what actually matters versus living in an alternate reality? That's why as men walk away. And they'd be like, you don't want a man. You want the idea of the kind of man that you want. You don't want the actual reality of a man. And that's the problem. If you don't want to be single, and if you don't want to be lonely, and you want companionship with a guy, then you got to understand that guy's situation. You got to understand where that guy come from. You got to understand where that guy at in his life right now. Because no one's a finished product. We all working, and we all striving, we're all building. And that's supposed to be okay. Especially to the average woman. As we are average men, a lot of these women on the TikToks, y'all average women. Y'all not nothing great like that, but y'all act as if y'all are. And then that's when y'all ego gets checked at the door, because now guys in the comments saying like, you ain't all that to be demanding all of that, And now your ego shot. And it's not to say you shouldn't have what you want in your life as your preference. But don't just look at it down on all of us men that you don't know at all, and you don't know our situation, and you don't know what we've been through, and you probably don't care to know what we've been through, to know where we're at in our life. But it doesn't mean that you should just be stepping on dudes left and right, because it says more about your insecurities than an actual knowledge of what it means and pertains to be with a man, or to get to know a man, get to understand how a man thinks, get to understand how a man reacts, his patterns, his behaviors. If we can accept that about women, why can't women accept that about men? Because I, for one, never cared about where a woman works. I don't care if a woman makes more than I do. Glad to have a job. Most people don't have nothing at all. At all. And I feel as though those people who make those videos, y'all don't know that until y'all don't have nothing at all. And then you really see the value of understanding what's important and then what's not important. And as I continue to get older, I start recognizing what's important, what matters, and what's for clicks, what's for views, and what's for content. And I'm sorry, man, I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that's what should matter. I don't think that's what should be the ultimate thing when it comes to getting to know someone and getting to build with someone. You're supposed to be wanting to build with one person, not multiple people. So if you don't even have the understanding and aware of all to know that, then how do you think anybody's supposed to take you seriously? How do you think anybody's supposed to listen to your content and be like, yeah, that's a woman I want in my life? No, it's more as though that's the kind of woman I want no part of. That's the kind of woman I wouldn't even give the time of day. I wouldn't even give my phone number to. Just as much as they can degrade us, in turn, we could degrade y'all, but we choose not to because, one, we don't have time for that. Two, that's not really in our nature. Why are we spending time on women we don't know and talking about them in a certain kind of way, in a certain kind of fashion? Because now we judging y'all. That's not what we do. But we are going to talk about it from an understanding and the perspective of this is supposed to be logical, not illogical. And if you're only looking for one person to try to be with, why is it pertaining to all guys? Or why are you putting a certain section of guys in the group saying we broke, we average, we ain't good enough? Then that shouldn't matter then. At the end of the day, if we broke and we average and we not good enough, then why continue to make content about us? Or at least what you want from us. And I'm talking about one guy you're looking for, not multiple guys. You're looking for one guy to call your own, one guy that you can build with. But you can't be able to build with that guy as a woman if you can't even understand where he at in his life and how you fit into that equation. So that's my perspective on that. When it comes to dealing with, certain trials and tribulations in your life, no matter what, you should always pick your head up and don't let it stop you. It's always going to be drama that goes on in the outside world, but you can't let it affect your inner world. And each and every day when you step out there, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at, words of encouragement is always important. Meaning, I will overcome this. This will not knock me down. I'm stronger than this moment. I'm going to keep pushing myself. I'm going to keep believing in myself. And words of encouragement gives you some good sense of peace of mind. And when you have a world that's full of violence, that's full of drama, that's full of negativity, full of distractions, you always have to stay focused on what it is that you want, out of your day, out of your week, and out of your month. So for me, it's always been about peace of mind, putting God first, staying in the scripture, staying in my Bible on my phone and my Bible app, and just being a positive influence when it comes to the distractions of the world, because I don't get boggled down by every little thing. Not every little thing affects me. You can feel bad for what you see out there, but I don't have any control of that. It's only so much that you can control, and you only want to control what you're capable of controlling, not what you're incapable of not controlling. So always remember that, men, when it goes to what you're dealing with in your life, always say words of encouragement. Always have peace of mind. And if you're in the Bible and if you're in the Christ, always stay in the word, because the word brings you stability. The words bring you comfort, and it gets your mind relaxed. You start understanding the points and the perspectives of what you're reading in the Bible or what you're reading in a chapter of a Bible, and you start equating it to peace of mind, and you start getting the clarity that you're looking for. Because So many distractions with social media, with violence, with news everywhere, everybody broadcasting literally everything. It could take your mind away from what's actually going on in your actual life. So try to use that. Try to stay positive. Try to keep a good peace of mind. Always have words of encouragement to yourself, and always stay surface level. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Always stay surface level. And that way you're able to bind it out and do what it is what you needed to do to be successful out here. Because I say this, no matter where you at in life, no matter what you're doing in life, no matter if you high, no matter if you low, whether you got some money or you don't got that much money, whether you got one job or you got no job, always keep going, always keep pushing, always keep motivating yourself. There's so many different avenues out here for you to go out here and get it. You just got to be determined to do it. Motivation fuels all. Ambition, that's why it's tatted on my arm, fuels all. Because with ambition, you can go out here and achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. You can always stay focused on your purpose and not let nothing out here stop you, because it can, and you can get distracted by it. And even for me at 30 years old, I continue to stay focused. I continue to stay motivated. I continue to stay building. And God gave me the avenue to do that. Just like God gave me the ability to go out here and grind and give my perspective on my podcast. And whether you receive the information from me or whether you receive it from someone else, always remember, you matter. You can be great. You just got to believe you can be great. And it'll happen. This is the end of the episode 7 of the Truth Be Told podcast. God bless you guys. Have a good Sunday.